Hi, hey there, guys. This is me, Linda Christensen, and what I'm wanting to do here is putting together a little bit of a series of videos that will support creating what I'd like to call a Manifestation Manifesto. And a key thing that I'm becoming and have been passionate about lately is that I so believe that abundance is indeed to be our destiny and success in life is to be our mission. And we need to integrate spirituality and success in our daily living, our daily lives, and that is really what is going to save this planet. We desperately need to shift our paradigms here in terms of how we operate in the world. And we bring in a sense of the sacred in economics, in every arena of how we operate in life. And I like to work with this overarching paradigm of sacred abundance. Not going to go into that too much detail here, but I would love to recommend that you read my book, Money Mindset Shift. That's up on Amazon because I talk a bit about it there, where I also address, uncovering your hidden money blocks. And it's a great little book. So I highly recommend you check it out on Amazon, okay? But I unpack that there more. What I want to do here today is start with the first principle in this Manifestation Manifesto. And there's going to be 7 that we'll cover, not all today. I'm just going to do one here and then another one on another day, etc. And the first principle is a type of prosperity principle. It's the principle of vision. Okay, the power principle of vision. And just so you know where we're going, the second one is going to be the power principle of emotion. The third is the power of words. The fourth, the power of thought. The fifth, the power of action. The sixth, the power of presence. And the seventh is the power of prayer. And that's really the key thing that's too often missing in a lot of presentations about manifestation. So this is what I want to cover, because I do believe we're all meant to actualize our dreams in life. That's really why we're here, what it's all about. And that all fits in directly with this first principle, the power principle of vision. This is where it all begins. We need to clearly spell out, define, and anchor out there in this world a vision for our lives and get really clear on what we want. What is it that we want to all do, have, and be? All right, the triad of do, have, and be, and they're all very much interrelated, because you will be doing who you really are in terms of your being. The doing is an expression of your being, and then there's going to be a result of that. The result is in the having. And we always think of having strictly in material terms, but I like to think of having that goes beyond material terms. It includes the material terms, but it also includes such things as having happiness, having fulfillment and joy. Those are, again, that's part of the state of being, but these are things that you have, and they become riches of the soul inside, internal riches, as well as external riches. Poverty sucks, and poverty is really one of the worst evils in this world, the source of the greatest suffering and misery in people's lives. There is next to nothing good about poverty, really. All right. Abundance is what is meant to be, and it is our destiny. It is a part of the design of the universe. We are meant to live in abundance, from abundance, out of abundance, and operate from abundance in terms of being generous to others as well. So abundance is key. It's just inherent in the very fundamental process of life and the grand ecosystem of all things. And we all have our part to play in that. So coming back to vision, the power of vision, getting clear on what you want. Now, we always think, oh, but wanting, that's so selfish. What is this wanting business really all about? Well, first of all, what is the root of our desires? The ancient Greeks talked about desire, eros, as being the fundamental force, life force in the universe, that there's this cosmic force of desire, and that is why there is something instead of nothing. That is why there's any form of existence, is it has its roots fundamentally, primally, in some sense of cosmic desire. And I see that for us as human beings, as individuals, our personal individual desires are rooted and grounded and have its origins and source in this larger cosmic desire of the universe. And that is why I exist and you exist, and that's why we're here. It's because of desire. And so we have within us, it's sort of like our internal genetic DNA, spiritual DNA as well, that we have desires. And the desire comes and is a result of our design of who and what we're all meant to be, to become, to manifest, to express, to put forth in this world by design. And so those desires are a reflection of what we all are by design. And they're meant to be expressed and put out. And as we put out what those desires are, and they can manifest, then there's that sense of being fulfilled. There's a sense of fitting, that I fit in this cosmic design of life. I'm contributing my part. And it is satisfying. I feel then fulfilled. I feel completed. Because there's this longing, this hungering of putting out and fitting. I mean, it sounds rather sexual what I'm doing here, but actually there is something deeply profound about that too. I even think that the sexual act is almost a beautiful metaphor for the whole dance of this universe of cosmic existence as to why we're here and what it's to be about. So, I think it's beautiful. I think it's amazing. Desires are amazing. We're meant to have desires. It is good to have desires. It is amazing to have some passion. And I wish there was more of it out there in this world. It just gets to me how I find most people are rather dull and dead. Passion is the thirst of life for life, to live. We are meant to be passionate beings. It is this joy of life, thirst for life, hunger for life, and the delight of life that is the root of passion. And therein lies our desires. So we have desires, and those desires are meant to be fulfilled. And we need to start tapping into those. All right. Now, we get really messed up in this department in all kinds of ways. First of all, oftentimes as kids, when we grow up, we weren't ever given permission to want what we want. We were often shamed, judged, and condemned for having desires. Often told that, no, that's bad. Don't do this. Don't do that. Oh, how could you? We get judged, shamed, condemned, all right? Punished blatantly when we express desires. Then, of course, with a lot that's out there, there's a lot of teaching in the religions. All right, East and West, that somehow desires are rooted in self-centeredness. I mean, there's some legitimacy to that, again, it gets complicated. But often there is a religious condemnation of desire that is all rooted in the ego, that's all rooted in the self, and you need to annihilate the self, annihilate all desires, remove all desires. They are the obstacle to coming into union with God. And that is true in the sense of certain kinds of desires. There are certain desires that are bastardizations of our authentic desires that come from that inner divine nature, if you like, the fundamental core essence of who we are, which is just a manifestation of this larger dance of the universe. All right, it's when that gets distorted and bastardized, that is when we have these problems of being, quote, self-centered and egocentric, and it's those kind of bastardized desires that need to be eliminated. Now, there's a lot here that needs to be talked about, and it's going to take too long, and I don't really want to address that right now. But just to be aware, there are different types of desires and sources for desire, all right? But what I'm wanting to talk about is authentic desire that comes from the core essence of our true nature of who we really are, as this individuated form that's an expression of the larger cosmic dance. Okay, I mean, I'm a dancer, so I love making reference to the cosmic dance, which I really think is what it is. Now, that authentic desire is also, it reflects how we are meant to be a contribution to the larger ecosystem. That inherent desire is there to reflect our destiny and our purpose. Okay, it is there to be of service to others. And that is the part that we have to play. All right, that little piece of the puzzle that is our contribution to this beautiful mosaic of life that we are to bring. And so it is something good to have this desire. It is something that is meant to be fulfilled and expressed and be brought in the world. Right? It is not to be condemned and cast aside, but instead it is to be honored and revered. It is something holy and sacred and needs to be nurtured, cultivated, and put out there. So it's good. Okay. So there's the good desire that comes from our true essence. And that is what we need to tap into. That is what we need to tap into. That is what we need to get clear of, all right, in order to forge a vision for our lives, all right, of who am I? Why am I here? What is it that I'm to put forth in this world that is reflection of my divine destiny, right? And that is what we need to get clear on. And that is principle number one, is birthing that vision. Now, there's a lot involved with that. There are many different exercises and tools. And again, that would take a long time. I'm not going to do that all now. Oh boy, why on earth am I doing this if I'm not going to do it all now? Well, there's a lot to do. So, but this is what we need to do. We need to explore, first of all, and get clear on a vision of our lives and who we are and what our desires and destiny is. Okay, and yeah, I could do a whole hour on that. And I don't even sometimes know, how I should put this all together. And I'm kind of exploring right now how to package a lot of my ideas and principles. But anyways, coming back to the point here, because I'm going on too long here. The key thing is number one, the power principle of vision. We need to get clear on what that vision is and start to define it. And then once we get clear on that, we start anchoring it, all right? Giving it solidity, giving it materiality in this world. So we take it from the ethers of vision, and potentially for a lot of people, it just stays in la la land. We want to start anchoring it in this world so it could start manifesting. And that is then how, indeed, we come into this where we realize our destiny of abundance and where our mission becomes realizing the success of putting forth our vision. All right. So I think that's all I'll say at this point here today. The next principle that I want to talk about, not today, but tomorrow or whenever I do this, is, the power principle of emotion. Okay, because that's a key thing. All right. So last little point here, I do and I will just this week, in the next few days, if anybody wants to have a free one-on-one little session with me to help you get clear on your vision, I will allow that. I will give you some time, but that's just going to be for I don't know, maybe 3 people at the most. So if you're interested in that, to just over Skype have a little get together, chit chat over this, I'd be happy to do that with you. Okay, to spend maybe about 45 minutes to help you get clear on what your vision could be. Okay, all right. Thanks so much for taking this in, and feel free to share it. Hopefully it's of some value, even though I do kind of I hate scripts. I can't follow a script. I just start babbling, and you've got my babble here. Okay. All right. Take good care. Talk to you soon.